Venezuela after Maduro, navigating a dangerous transition and avoiding chaos. On January 3rd, 2026, the geopolitical landscape of Latin America shifted dramatically. The United States launched a bold and unprecedented military operation in Venezuela that resulted in the capture of President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, who were flown to New York to face U.S. drug trafficking charges. In the aftermath, U.S. President Donald Trump announced that American forces would temporarily run the country until transition power could be achieved. A statement. A nation at a crossroads. For more than a decade, Venezuela has been mired in a deep political, economic, and humanitarian crisis. Once home to the world's largest proven oil reserves, the country saw its economy collapse, oil production decline massively, and millions of citizens flee abroad amid hyperinflation, scarcity of basic goods, and political repression. International observers and analysts have long warned that any abrupt change in leadership without a clear roadmap could plunge the nation further into turmoil. In a New Year's Eve interview before his capture, Maduro made a surprising call for serious talks with the United States, even expressing openness to cooperation on drug trafficking and foreign oil investment. Though he denied U.S. allegations of leading a narco-state and claimed the U.S. was primarily acting to seize Venezuelan resources. Power vacuum and competing claims to leadership. Immediately after Maduro's detention, Vice President Delcy Rodriguez declared herself interim president, asserting that Maduro remained Venezuela's legitimate leader and rejecting U.S. authority. The Venezuelan Supreme Court later ordered her to assume office to ensure administrative continuity. The conflicting narratives reflect deep institutional fractures and underline the danger of competing claims to legitimacy. This power vacuum poses one of the most immediate risks to stability. Without a unified governing authority, security forces may fracture, armed groups could fill the void, and governance, already strained, could rapidly deteriorate. U.S. goals and international reactions. President Trump has framed the intervention as a necessary effort to dismantle criminal networks and restore stability, pledging to help oversee the transition until Venezuelans can determine their own future. He openly stated that the U.S. would run the country until a safe and proper transition can take place, and did not rule out the deployment of ground troops. However, this direct U.S. involvement, executed without prior congressional authorization, has sparked international controversy. Critics argue it violates international law, undermines Venezuela's sovereignty, and could set a dangerous precedent for unilateral interventions. Pope Leo also appealed for Venezuelan independence and respect for human rights, warning against foreign domination. Venezuela stands at an inflection point. The removal of Nicolas Maduro presents both an opportunity for democratic renewal and a perilous risk of deeper instability. The path forward will depend heavily on the ability of Venezuelan leaders, regional powers, and international actors to coordinate a transition that restores governance, respects sovereignty, and averts the slide into chaos. Without a coherent strategy that prioritizes inclusive political consensus and stability, the nation could face years more of unrest and hardship that has stirred both hope and alarm across the region.